I respect that.
I like that ending too.
Well, listen, man, Charm 2, Russ.
I like that.
We appreciate you coming by, kicking it with us. I wish we had more time.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, I was saying,
We'll do it again. I got music every fucking.
I know you're good for podcasting.
Yeah,
we could do this bi-monthly.
I love talking, man.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
We'll be down in Atlanta end of the month, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
We can do a part 2.
Oh, that might be a cool year.
All right, man. We appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me.
Congrats on the release. Everything I've seen has been amazing responses. So for real.
Thank you, man.
Congrats, man. I know this took some shit to put together.
It's fire.
So
it was worth it. Thank you for
this.
Man.
Hell yeah, man. Appreciate y'all.
Before he does that, because I know what's going to happen. So what's up, YouTube? It is Dreas, aka DJ Anti-Zero, and what you just heard was Rory and Mal featuring Russ. The reason why I'm making this afterthought video, which to me I kind of regret not doing it in the reaction format way, even though it's about 3 hours long. Who's me? Actually, I think it's like, yeah, it's like 10 minutes under 3 hours. I enjoyed the entire podcast. Now I'm making this video because I want to just talk about a few viewpoints that he had on this particular podcast, and nothing that Russ said was wrong. This is actually what I'm on Russ' side of things. I'm just like, like, we all should be independent. We all should own our, own music, etc. We should sell our music whenever we feel like selling it. Like, move accordingly, move a certain way. Maybe because I'm getting older and I was a lot more. The word would be naive, but not knowledgeable of understanding what it means to be a part of a label. Because I'm like, okay, if you got Jeezy, you got T.I., you got Andre 3000, or Big Sean, or whomever you want to throw into the industry. You can look at Young Money roster. You can say John Mills, Tyga. Just trying to avoid naming like mainstream people. But I feel like those people, and you're like, okay, they all signed. What's the problem? Or the people still signing? It's like, what's the problem? And what I've came to understand was, even mainly through Russ, was like, oh, okay, we're in a time where we don't have to anymore. If this was early 2000s, then yeah, it's kind of I have to, because you got to go around, find a studio that's already pre-built, then you got to pay constantly for that studio, pay for the work, the artwork, pay for the promotion, and pay for the people to go with you on performances, pay the person that's booking it, etc. Now we're at a day and age where y'all see that microphone, but this is the microphone I actually use to record my music. I don't usually use a phone holder. I probably should a bit more, but I don't use it because it's pretty flimsy. But everything's here. I got my DAW right behind you. Well, hide you guys from the camera. And I got my MacBook. So, don't really need things outside of that. Now, the only issue I'm having is like getting my vocals to sound nice on the track in comparison to other records, but that's just because I want it to be a little more digestible when it comes to the listener. And I'm sure people like you guys would definitely say, like, don't compare yourself to anybody else, just do what you gotta do. And I'm like, I completely understand that, and I completely agree with you. But speaking on Russ' part about just being independent and owning your own rights to the masters and music and whatnot, and moving as such, I completely agree with. I know everybody else on that podcast agrees with. The issue with artists now is, and something I learned on this, is just making music more digestible. That was something that was a tough time for me to understand. I'm in the process of at least writing a couple. By writing, I'm talking about I have the beat ready, I made lyrics to it, I mixed it and I mastered it. Well, not necessarily mastered because I AI mastered my stuff, but I mixed it down myself. And doing all that, I do a couple songs a week, and that was because I was working. Now, because I got time off. I could go full force on it. And a part of me definitely wants to, because I'm storing this one beat that I'm like, I don't know how, like, I feel like if I go into this beat and if I like finish the structure of it, because that's another thing too, like, there's days where I completely made this beat from scratch, finished the recording all in one day. It'll take me about like 5-6 hours. And that depends on mainly on how I want the song to turn out, from lyrics to the sound of it. And that's the main, because if I didn't care about the lyrics, or if I didn't care about the sound to that degree, which I have one of those songs that are like that, I'm knocking off about 2 hours. Like, it's not, like, for me, it's not that crazy. The only thing I would definitely say, if you ask me to right now spit a verse from any of those tracks that I've made within one day, I can probably come up with 1 or 2 of the lines that I've done, but everything was off the phone and like recording, like, this is da 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 da, like, it's off the phone. In most cases, artists will say, or even managers or people that's in the music, be like, it's a bad idea, you should memorize your words, etc. And where I'm at, I'm actually developing the comfortability to make a song within a short amount of time frame and being able to memorize the words to a degree. And once I get more comfortable on that, I'm planning on expanding back out to the uncomfortable zone and actually working on the memorization of that recording of that track. Because if I were to do, I don't want to do one of my songs, my new songs. If I were to do, what's the song that's already out, so I don't feel like I'm doing too much. If I were to do, that's hard. Why can't I think of a song right now? Like, I know the songs, I just trying to think of a song that, like, I know the verse to off the dome. I could do Headbang, but that's extremely old. I'm trying to do something a bit newer, but that's not released yet. So I don't feel like I'm about to drop some lyrics on y'all that shouldn't be known to man yet, or woman. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. I could start you down to put the elf on the shelf. Give you my new career, make it certified milk. Swallow, make it hollow, cause it's good for your health. Man, I'm the type to make it this. Come to your funeral, saying I did this. I'm just one-on-one. You talking one-on-one. I'm just one of one. You talking one-on-one. Haven't you realized, well, I called you my son. I'm not doing the whole verse, but if you want that song, it's called Is This You by Dreas. What's his name? Put in the comment section if you want to listen to it. I'll drop the link for it so it'll make it a lot more easier to find. But yeah, I like that type of song. I remember when I was doing that, it was easier for me to memorize it as I was going. Like, as I was reading off the thing, because I was doing like multiple takes. I was doing at least, like, for that verse alone, after finishing the lyrics, I'm sure I did like 9 to 10 takes. And like straight through, like trying to get it done straight through, so there's no like real chops. One of the songs I haven't released yet, I recorded it one day, waited 2 days, and re-recorded the next day, and I learned to never do that again. Primarily reason is because I sound completely different than I did that day in comparison to what I sounded the day I tried to re-record it, at least a piece of it, and it sounded crazy. I was able to kind of get the sound there, but if you listen to it very carefully, you might be able to pick it up. I don't know how well I blended the two, but if you listen very closely, you can pick it up. And so far, the people that I've sent it to, they have not picked it up. So, at least I can do it, but it took me an extra like 20 minutes to get that piece out. But nonetheless, Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like TikTok at the current state that's in is technically where SoundCloud used to be at. So I definitely would say, so I would definitely say TikTok. Primarily heavy on TikTok, not meaning ignoring every other social media, but you have a higher chance of, if we do a hypothetical chart, this is hypothetical and this is not real numbers, it's just me like kind of guessing based off what I'm hearing and seeing. You have an 70% chance that you will blow up on TikTok. There will be 20 to 30% chance you might blow up on Instagram. There's going to be like 15 to 20% chance you're going to blow up on Facebook. There's going to be 10 to 15% chance you might blow up on Twitter. LinkedIn is interesting. I want to say maybe 20% chance you might blow up on LinkedIn. I'm trying to think of what else. What are the social media accounts? I mean, it is Pinterest, but I mean, that's kind of a stretch. Like you could probably get a high chance on Pinterest, but that depends on how you angle it. Outside of that, man, like there's ways, and honestly, I feel like the independent route is the best route moving forward currently. Things could change. Maybe the music industry is like, yo, we want to do deals differently in a different format, give a shorter deals, shorter amount of time, and leverage off of artists for a set period of time, etc. Who knows? It might be another 5-year window, 5-year gap. Even with the NFT space, like Gary Vee saying, like, for somebody like me, I make, let's say, literally a few dollars per month off of my music. And that right now I haven't promoted my songs. Like I haven't promoted none of my songs since August. It was the last time I probably actually said, hey, listen to something. Like I did throw something out during Thanksgiving. That was like one time. So I don't know if I really want to count that. I mean, it is promotion, but I'm not sure if I want to count that as like I promoted. I kind of just like, hey, Thanksgiving, here's Eat. An old track that, kind of solidifies for the holidays. And even I have like 2 Christmas songs, I'm probably going to do the same thing for Christmas. When I'm dropping my music, I'm still going to hold off on it because I am very close to halfway of what I want as a catalog. And even if I do get literally to the halfway mark, in theory, I could just drop music and just make up for the halfway mark as I'm going on and dropping music. So there will be like TikTok raps. I think where my mindset is going, that there's going to be some weeks where I don't give you guys a full rap song, but it will still be available on streaming platforms. Like some TikTok raps I found some beats, threw my vocals on them, plan on making a video off of them, and then you guys can listen to them on TikTok, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Something short, something sweet. In between some other tracks that I made myself. And like I said, since I got the free time, I plan on going a lot harder when it comes to my music, more so just creating it. Do I like this method? Kind of do and kind of don't. I don't like this method for the fact of I feel like I'm taking away from the potential metaphors and bars that I could have on the song. However, in the flip side of it, it's a lot more easier just to go ahead and listen without having to overthink on what I'm saying. So it's a give and take, and I feel like moving forward, I'm going to be giving half and half of that. I'm going to be giving half some tracks where it's like it's going to sound lazy, but it's still effort into it. It's going to sound lazy when it comes to word choices and how it's presented. Which also the benefit of doing so is the flow is easier. I personally can see certain things I couldn't see prior because of me used to being wordy. And when I do go to wordy now I can come at doing wordy songs in a different way to make it easier and digestible for the listener. I've learned to add certain plugins to make my sound a lot more better when it comes to actual tracks, and it's actually pinpointed more to like what are the settings for those plugins. So I kind of know now like the setting. So when you guys hear it, you're more likely gonna hear. I'm just gonna say like if I made September track, your guys are gonna most likely hear September track the first time I start dropping music again, versus hearing December track 1 week and then hearing September track the following week and then being like, wait a minute, why this one sound lower quality than the last week? I don't want that. So we're probably gonna get the lower version as I rise up the higher, so you can kind of still see the progress in a way. And I'm gonna still blend it, so I might do like an October, then a September, and then for September go back to October, go to November, maybe go back to September. Like I might do that type of track list. I don't know yet. I still got putting it with everybody else. And he mentioned one more other thing that I want to discuss for my afterthoughts. I'm trying to remember on top of my head what he had discussed, even though there's like a kind of a list here to a degree. Raw message for independence. I thought that was a good one. Rory asked Russ if maybe he was raw messenger to push his message of independence to black-led culture. That was a good one. You guys are going to have to just tune in for that one. I'm not going to repeat that because that was good. Chomp 2 was definitely a good album. Chomp 2 was not an album that I particularly would listen to just in general. It's a lot more of an old school-ish vibe and a lot more lyricism type vibe. I'm more of a what could put me either in my bag or what could put me in a happy state versus me digesting lyrics. I feel like me digesting lyrics had to be in a certain mindset in a certain day. Like I have to be like, all right, if I'm hanging out with certain people, then I'm listening to it. If I'm like, I want to hear some hardcore vibes because I just randomly want to be in that bag, then I'm listening to it. But if you ask me to, like I have Chomp 2 songs on my playlist that I listen to on the daily. But if you're like, oh, but I listen to the Chomp 2 album on any given day, it's like, nah. Again, it's a good album. Royce has a very good album that he had made a few years back that I listened to only 3 times. And I can't take a song away from it because everything about that entire album was that good. Like, I can't, like, if I take one song away, I feel like I need to take the whole album with me. And I can't do it. It's just a lot for me. I like different moods and tones throughout my playlist. What else they talked about? Conversation about negative independence or why it's not for everybody. Finding artists off of TikTok. The one thing that spoke out to me, the last thing I want to talk about is, being yourself. I want to say I was at a conflict with being myself. And one of my goals as an artist, just one of them, was to curse less on my tracks. I'm a Will Smith fan. I've been a fan of his last album. I will repeat that last album multiple times. Miss Loretta, Here He Comes. The one he had technically dissed Eminem and actually dissed a couple other people. The one that he had Mary J. Blige album, Future on. Snoop Dogg was on there, Pump the Brakes. Having 3 switch tracks, so 2 of them being remixes, one with Robin Thicke and one for Alpha Man. That's what I'm really like. That album to me spoke a lot of volume. And then I listened to that album back the other week, after I listened to the audio version of the book, it spoke to a lot more volume to me because there were certain parts I'm like, oh, that's what happened? That makes a lot more sense now. So, yeah, that's another thing, too, with my music, and I tell this to people in general. I'm not the person to always put what I've experienced through all my lyrics. Feelings, most part, yes. Like, the things I felt in similar scenarios, I mean, I can't, not replicate that feeling. But, like, certain talks, like, let's hypothetically say I went back to Is It You? And I was like, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I could have saw you down and put that elf on the shelf. That part felt a little bit more to me, but then when I went to give him my new career, make a certified male, saw him make a hollow because it's good for your health. I'm like, would that be something I do? Not necessarily. Could I do it? That's all I feel like I could do, so that's why I threw that on there. But like, would I do that? Nah, like I'm playing around. I'm not gonna get into the possibilities of what. Never mind. End of the day, I enjoyed this interview. This is more confirming for me of just like staying on the path I'm on. But yeah, as an artist, as somebody that wants to shed music out to you guys, whether you be fans, listeners, or curiosity people, or people that don't want to fuck with me, but is trying to figure out why to fuck with me or why should they stay not fucking with me. I prefer to make a lot more enjoyable music, meaning that if we put you in a good mood or give you a more motivational mindset or encourage you to take care of yourself better, I'm way about that. Depressing music, you might hear me touch that once. Excuse me. That's hot chocolate. You might get me to speak upon it once every like couple of tracks. I'm talking about a couple as in like 10, 11 tracks. Like, you won't hear me go in about it unless the beat feel good and I'm just in the mood just to ride off that beat. You're not gonna really hear me like, oh, she hurt my heart like that. Like, I have a few tracks. Attention was kind of one of them. But again, that's Attention. Like, I can't even recognize another track that's like Attention. Like, there is For You. Before You was more self-reflecting versus like really depressing. Like, Attention was more of like, all right, I'm trying to let you know, like, you're seeking for something that I can't give you right now. Like, and then you're complaining and getting mad about it. And I'm just like, you want me to look at the situation in a different lighting. And I'm like, I gotta get to what I'm doing here. This is going to get me, you, and whomever else I put on to there. So it's hard for me to really say, you want it now versus, hey, can I get some later? And it's like, okay, I can adjust that for later, but now you're trying to intrude in my work. And I'm like, so what I'm hearing is you just want me to stop my process to this for you, for however many time that is. That's not even a lucrative or whatever the word is. The amount of time is just random, and I'm just expected to hop back into my work as if I never missed a heartbeat. Once you stop somebody from their line of work for X amount of period of time, their flow of creative gets messed up. So now they're not as creative as they were in the process of when they were doing it. Which is why if you were going to the studio or go to the art gallery or whatever case may be, usually the door is locked or they only allow select people in because you don't want to disturb the creative process from an outside force. Unless it's actually an emergency, sure. But if somebody would hit me up right now and was like, yo, you want to come to this party? And I'm in the middle of writing a song, like, the worst case that might happen is I just might transfer what I'm about to say from that song to something about whatever that person said on the phone about me into that song because I'm in that creative process. But if we're having a 3-4 hour conversation now on the phone, I can't get back to what I was doing to that song the way I was getting into that song. Like, that's just not a thing. I think I need to do a podcast because I just realized how long this video is. Nonetheless, I appreciate you guys tuning into this. I'm going to do more talks, probably more day-to-day talks, just say my thoughts. Random situations of things that are coming up, especially like the Abra, Preach, and Fresh and Fit, and small YouTubers. Part of me doesn't want to talk about that, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of past, and I'm also going to look for a remote job so I can do a lot more of these videos at ease. It's going to be a little more difficult because right now I'm looking at sales, and I know people are going to say sales is hard, etc. We're not going to get into that right now. But I'll see you guys later. Peace out.